All right. So my question, I think, is around a lot of times people want to portray or like put their best foot forward, right? Which everyone does. You want to look successful. You want to have your strengths forward. My experience in the last 8 years of being in corporate America is I'm coming to find out that my weaknesses are my greatest strengths. What I thought was 8 years ago a weakness for me has become a strength in where I am and where I'm going. In your perspective, how have you seen like weaknesses be used for, growth, for scaling, for whatever it is, right? So all these positive outcomes that people are looking for. Have you, if you could speak to that?
Kris, I didn't quite hear I heard what you said, but I didn't quite hear the full question.
Yeah, I think my question is, as a form of growth, scale, whatever these positive outcomes that kind of people are asking about are, have you ever seen or do you see weaknesses playing a part in this successful outcome at the end? So whether that's culture, whether that's scaling, whether that's making that impact.
Yeah, thank you. I think that's a very sophisticated question. It is true that our greatest strengths are our greatest weaknesses. And especially you could think about a weakness very often as an overused strength. So that's maybe one thing to say. The second thing to say is that in any journey of growth, what got you here won't get you there. And so one aspect of that is that when you are an individual contributor and a doer and proactive and you get stuff done, that's amazing. And then when you become a manager, that's actually not the skill that's useful anymore. You have to learn to get work done through others. You've got to coach and guide and direct. And then when you become a leader and you're responsible for a whole team, you can't even coach and guide and direct the work. You have to kind of set the context and the conditions for the work to get done. Those are very different skills. So for example, someone might be super tactical, get stuff done, proactive, and that's amazing. But as a leader and a manager, you have to be more seeing the whole chessboard, more strategic, more far-seeing, and not always living in the present. And you've got to then learn to develop that skill. However, if that was your skill when you were an individual contributor, you probably got a lot of flack for it. But now that you're a manager or a leader, well, look at that. That's going to work for you. So I think there's like an interesting complex set of skills. The one piece of advice I would have for you and for everybody is this: be aware of your situation. Really spend time reflecting. What am I great at? What works for me? What's the environment like around here? Who are the most successful people in this environment? What do they bring to the table? Now, you may not like it because that's the truth. Like you might be in an environment where, oh my gosh, everyone's just doing. No one's being strategic and planning the work. Okay. But that's what's getting rewarded around there. So you've got to meet the situation where it is. You've got to build credibility by also being a tactical doer. And then in doing so, you earn the right to bring the culture, to bring the conditions, to being more, let's say, planning the work or more strategic or whatever you want to call it. So I would just say situational awareness is a core skill for everyone to build so they can see how they fit into the puzzle.